According to YouTube statistics, only a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe.
They had this thing called
the Sideshow Museum.
And it was a museum of circus freak shows from the 1800s. Like stuff that had been in these circus sideshows. They had the shadow box hanging on the wall. And there's a
dried out turd in it.
And it says it's
Abraham Lincoln's final turd.
Come on. So it says on the card, it said when he arrived at Ford's Theater, he had to drop a deuce. And so before he got seated, he went to the men's room.
And he dropped a deuce in the chamber pot.
And then he went back to watch the play.
And he got shot.
Somebody had the presence of mind.
To fish it out.
And they say presence of mind.
Or the sickness.
Well,
there are a lot of Lincoln collectors out there. It's very competitive.
I see an article in the Washington Post about 6 months later saying it's going out of business and they're going to auction everything off. So I told my wife,
I'm buying that turd.
She's like,
oh no, you're not.
I said,
oh yes, I am. I'm buying that turd.
My wife and I actually had a strong disagreement about this. I go to the auction and I
top out at $1,200.
It ends up going for $5,000. So the guy that ended up buying it sends it to some company for a DNA sample. And what they found was it had like microscopic bits of Necco wafer in it. But Necco wafers weren't invented until 1880.
It wasn't his shit. It wasn't his.
It was
some random guy's turd
that somebody paid
$5,000 for.
It was worth it. It was worth it. And another thing too, and maybe this is getting a little too personal, but you really get to see who your friends are.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And they're not the people you think they are.
So it's interesting because, you know, you and I didn't overlap at the agency.
No, I left in, I left in 2004.
Yeah, and I came in 2007.
And then my resignation was effective in 2005. Right?
But the one charge that stuck for you for the disclosure of a secret identity.
Right. The Intelligence Identities Protection Act.
Right, was Deuce Martinez.
No.
It wasn't Deuce.
No.
Oh, it was somebody else.
The name was never made public.
Ah.
See, this is the thing about Deuce Martinez. They charged me with espionage, saying that I outed Deuce Martinez. Deuce Martinez is on fucking LinkedIn. Central Intelligence Agency Targeting Officer.
Right.
It's like, well, you charged me with espionage. The guy's on fucking LinkedIn.
So he pulls out the Polaroids.
And again, these are like hardcore gay, anal.
And he lays them out. And he says, is this torture? These men, they're torturing each other. Should they be sent to Guantanamo? And these guys are old. So they're like, they have their trifocals on. And they're like, one of them picks it up and he goes, like this. He goes,
oh, not good. This haram. Not good.
And the other one, he hands it to the other one.
Oh, no. This not good.
And they just set it down. And they just look at him. Like, damn it.
Nothing's happening.
Another experience that I had that troubled me deeply. I was serving in Pakistan at the time. And I was staying in a small guest house because it was safer than a big hotel. Sure enough, the big hotel was blown up and 45 people were killed while I was living there. But I left my guest house at a different time, like I did every day, and took a different route, like I did every day, to go to work. And I noticed that a man on a motorcycle wearing a red helmet was trying very hard to stay in my blind spot. I worked 12, 14 hours, whatever it was that day, and I left, and it was dark. And sure enough, there he was again. There's a definition of surveillance. It's multiple sightings at time and distance. So I've seen him multiple times at different times of the day and at different places. I'm definitely under surveillance. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, got in the car, drove a block. There he was again. So when I got to the office, I said to the security officer, I am under surveillance. I'm 100% sure that I'm under surveillance. He said, well, let's wait until the chief comes in. When the chief finally came in, I told him the story, and he said, well, you know what you have to do. I said, I know. I'm going to kill him if I see him this afternoon. I was worried about it all day, and all my coworkers came up to me that day to slap me on the back and say, don't worry, we're all going to be out there. We're going to have a whole security team. I said, I know, but I never killed anybody before, and I'm so worried that he's going to kill me before I get a clear shot at him. That afternoon, I had a meeting at a safe house that we shared with the local service. And on my way out at the end of the meeting, and I don't know why I did this, but I turned around and I said, General, are you following me? And he said, no, why? And I said, because I'm under surveillance, and if I see this guy again, I'm going to kill him. And I never saw him again. I learned later that several of their officers were sitting around and saying, you know, that new American guy, he's such a nice guy. Nobody's that nice. I wonder if he's being nice just to try to make us drop our guard. And they decided to put the worst surveillance officer in their entire intelligence service on me. And if I hadn't said something that afternoon, he would be in the ground today.
Like the most famous guy on the internet now. I don't recognize your
Normal voice, it's killing me.
I know, right?
I don't know how this happened. It just happened, like literally overnight. It just happened.
Can we pull up the latest one that we put up, Thief? Yeah. Let's get John's live reaction. So, when this was happening, when you and I did episodes 278 and 279 together, which was a year ago, right. I remember this was probably like an hour, 20-some minutes into the first episode, and I remember this whole Lincoln thing coming up out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, this is cool. He's a Lincoln collector. And then you look at me with a dead straight face, and you're like, yeah, I was trying to buy Lincoln's last turd. And at the time, we had Alessi in the studio, and I'm like turning to Alessi like this motherfucker could be serious. And then you're like, oh yeah, I was trying to buy it. When this all started to break, like Danny on our editing team and I were looking at stuff, I'm like, you gotta make the Lincoln shit stuff. So he did. Let's run it.
And it was a museum of circus freak shows from the 1800s. Like stuff that had been in these circus sideshows. They had the shadow box hanging on the wall. And there's a
Dried out turd.
And it says it's
Abraham Lincoln's final turd.
Come on. So it says on the card, it said when he arrived at Ford's Theater, he had to drop a deuce. And so before he got seated, he went to the men's room.
And he dropped a deuce in the chamber pot.
And then he went back to watch the play.
And he got shot.
Somebody had the presence of mind.
Shut up.
And they say presence of mind.
For the sickness.
Well.
There are a lot of Lincoln collectors out there.
I see an article in the Washington Post about 6 months later saying it's going out of business and they're going to auction everything off. So I told my wife.
I'm buying that turd.
She's like,
oh, no, you're not.
I said,
oh, yes, I am. I'm buying that turd.
My wife and I actually had a strong disagreement about this. I go to the auction, and I
top out at $1,200.
It ends up going for $5,000. So the guy that ended up buying it sends it to some company for a DNA sample. And what they found was it had like microscopic bits of a Necco wafer in it. But Necco wafers weren't invented until 1880.
It wasn't his.
It was
some random guy's turd.
That somebody paid
$5,000 for. That is one of my better stories. Oh my God.
Are you familiar with Black Twitter at all?
No.
Oh, you're not? You need to familiarize yourself. They love you. They're
really?
Like, yo, this motherfucker, John, crazy, yo. Some words I'm not allowed to say. This motherfucker out here just saying straight cap, but it's real. And I'm fucking dying reading this stuff.
And I'm telling you, it happened literally overnight.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why.
I know you don't. I mean, you're like, for people that don't know you personally, which is pretty much everyone out there listening, like, you've lived this amazing life and done all these incredible things or whatever, but it's always...
I was assigned to Iraq, and I immediately became Saddam Hussein's classified biographer in the intelligence community. So while the Soviet Union is falling apart and those analysts are becoming big stars, I focused on Iraq, and then much to my shock and the world's shock, 9 months later, Iraq invaded Kuwait and overthrew the Kuwaiti royal family and seized Kuwait's oil fields. This was a naked act of aggression and war. And so I walked in that morning. I got up early because we knew that the invasion was coming. We predicted 30 days before that Saddam would invade Kuwait. But I got into the office early, and my boss sort of intercepted me and said, "Don't take your jacket off. We're going to the White House." And I had never been to the White House before. So we got in a car, we drove to the White House, and we were escorted into the Oval Office. And keep in mind, I was 25 years old at the time. And you walk into the Oval Office, and here's the president, the vice president, the national security advisor, the CIA director, my boss, and me. And the mood is very heavy. So everybody sits down, and the president says, "Well, now what do we do?" And then everybody turns and looks at me. And it took me a second to get my bearings. And I said, "Well, the Kuwaiti government's been overthrown. The Iraqi government announced this morning that they had installed Ahmed al-Khatib as the occupation governor of Kuwait." I said, "Unfortunately, we happen to know a lot about Ahmed Khatib. He got a medical degree at the American University of Beirut, and his college roommate was George Habash, and together they created the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. And the vice president says, "Jesus Christ!" And I thought, wow, this is bad. We finished the briefing, got up and walked out, and two things happened. My boss said to me, "There's something you need to understand." He said, "I'm not sure that you're appreciating the importance of what's happening. It's not unusual for a country that we cover to go to war. It's highly unusual for a country that we cover to go to war with us." And so we sent the largest army deployed since the end of the Vietnam War. We invaded Kuwait, we liberated it, and then the rest is history.